Glynnis Breytenbach, she's back.
Thank you.
Anyone who's paying any attention at all has been watching the fallout from General Mkhwenazi's big press conference. What's the most important takeout you've had so far?
There are big jobs coming up. The head of the Hawks is vacant, so that job is up for grabs, and of course, everybody wants it. It's just a continuation of this Jobs for Pals cadre deployment that has gotten us to where we are now. It's got to stop.
But what are some of the key things that have an ability to completely break down this country?
When the law doesn't apply to everybody equally, it is the only thing that keeps you and me and everybody else safe, is the rule of law.
Glynnis Breytenbach, she's been here before, she's back here again, and she's back here during a time that the country is facing some of its most serious challenges. And when policing is what policing is at the moment, and the situation is around policing what it is, it's really great to have someone that has a thorough knowledge. We assume you have a thorough knowledge, Glynnis, but it's really great to have someone that has a thorough knowledge, a thorough understanding to really take us through it, because I'm having challenges understanding a lot of what's going on. I'm sure our listeners have that too. And that's why Glynnis is here today. So welcome back, Glynnis.
Thank you.
Awesome to have you. Glynnis, let's start. What's the criminal justice system actually?
What is it?
What is it? For the layman, what is the criminal justice system?
Well, the criminal justice system is basically the legal system of South Africa, in the sense that it deals with all of the criminal issues in South Africa, some civil, but mostly criminal issues. Deals with so where people have behaved antisocially, theft, fraud, assault, murder, corruption, racketeering, all of those antisocial behaviors are dealt with within the parameters of the criminal justice system, and there must be consequences for in the ideal world, there should be consequences for antisocial behavior. But the criminal justice system is a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So it consists of maintenance courts where people, where sometimes men, but mostly women, have to go to try and access maintenance for fathers who aren't there to support their children, to enforce maintenance orders. The traffic courts, if you drive badly, you drive drunk, whatever, you appear in a traffic court. There are civil courts also within that system that deal with less complicated divorces, less complicated civil issues. And then, of course, the district courts, where you deal with less serious crimes, the regional courts where you deal with more serious crimes, the High Court where you deal with even more serious crimes, and then the Supreme Court of Appeal and the Constitutional Court deal with different issues.
So usually you'll see where there are consequences and where the criminal justice system works, it's some deterrent for crime. You generally see things get safer, society functions, people have faith in the system. What is the fear in our case, where the criminal justice system would appear to be failing the average resident, would appear to be failing the country at the moment under the current circumstances? What's the outcome of that?
Well, we see the outcome of it. More and more people behave in an antisocial fashion because they expect not to get caught. And if they get caught, they expect to get away with it. So the criminal justice system is made up of what I've just explained, the courts, but also the South African Police Service play a huge role in the criminal justice system. They have to arrest people. They have to investigate crimes. Prosecutors are not investigators.
Correct.
So the police investigate. They prepare dockets. On the basis of those dockets, prosecutions take place. If the docket's poorly investigated, you can't prosecute. And if the docket is poorly investigated and you do prosecute, you end up losing the case.
Correct.
Which is what is happening here. Yeah. And then, of course, you have the Department of Correctional Services, which is supposed to house those people whose behavior is so beyond the pale that they need to be incarcerated. But the objective of the Department of Correctional Services is, of course, their main objective is rehabilitation. Which doesn't happen. They're so overcrowded that they're just warehouses for criminals. And what you find is you have people who go in for there's no such thing as a not serious crime, but for a less serious crime. You have young people who are incarcerated, say, for housebreaking, car theft, assault. That does not cost any lives, but they get warehoused with hardened criminals.
It's university for
and
criminals.
So the environment that they're subjected to, not even the learning curve inside prison, but the environment that they're subjected to is not conducive to rehabilitation. And so they come out, the only way to survive there is to play the system.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And so they play that system, but they come out a much better qualified criminal than when they went in.
I come from a ward. I come from a ward, a gang-infested ward, and it's almost a trophy for certain individuals to go to jail, because when they go to jail, they get an extra, extra stripe on their,
Get an extra tattoo.
extra stripe on their badge.
Yeah. So, Glynnis, you started us with this process, from police investigation to the NPA to prison. Now, anyone who's paying any attention at all has been watching the fallout from General Mkhwanazi's big press conference. So what is the difference between the ad hoc committee that you are sitting on and the Madlanga Commission, which is all the more confusing because they're happening at the same time? So can you explain to your normal person why we have these two different things running concurrently?
Sure. So the Madlanga Commission is a judicial commission of inquiry, and they have certain powers and a stated mandate, terms of reference. And what they arrive at the end of their process is at recommendations which they make to the president, which he no doubt, as is his want, will sit on for a long time, and they may or may never be implemented, who knows. The ad hoc committee, on the other hand, is a committee of parliament. Ad hoc because it's a special committee set up for a specific purpose. And the reason for setting it up is that Parliament is responsible for the oversight of the South African Police Services, of the Justice Department, of the National Prosecuting Authority, and Correctional Services. And all of them are affected by the current problems with which the South African Police Service are beset. And so it was necessary for us to do something. Of course, you could have possibly done it broken it up into three and said some will go to the police portfolio committee, some will go to justice, some will go to correctional services, but then they would have worked at different paces and the terms of reference may have differed, and it just means that the whole process becomes a little messy at the conclusion end. So an ad hoc committee, you can set up terms of reference, you can deal within those parameters, and you can set a time limit and get it done. The difference is that this committee will make recommendations to the National Assembly where they will be debated.
And voted upon.
And the National Assembly will then decide how we deal with it and give instructions to those committees on what needs to be implemented, and those committees will be responsible for the implementation. So we can look forward to something happening in the foreseeable future.
So that committee, the ad hoc committee, obviously reports to Parliament. Parliament then decides. But the outcomes of it, I'm saying, could people be found guilty, individual people in an ad hoc committee?
No.
So there could be some level of guilt in the commission.
No, yeah.
But not in the ad hoc committee.
They're not sitting as court, so there's no guilt or non-guilt. They make findings about shortcomings in departments and in behaviour, and say and make then recommendations about how to address those issues. Okay. But in Parliament, your portfolio committee, my portfolio committee, the police, they will become responsible for overseeing the implementation of whatever the National Assembly decides.
Kicks out,
Advocate Glynnis.
And so it's Advocate, ma'am.
I knew that one day I'll get you.
Okay, Uncle, it's fine.
No.
I'll call you Uncle. You can call me Advocate. We're done.
Ma'am, Advocate MP.
But nonetheless, you've been... You were a very successful NPA prosecutor, and you've known in South Africa for literally not taking nonsense from anyone, especially in those committees. But what we've seen so far, I think it's shocking, to say the least. It looks like the security class, especially the police, in their current form, there's been so many allegations that came out of that ad hoc committee. But we also saw the former police commissioner, Begicele, literally spilling the beans on everyone, throwing
Everyone under the bus.
Except himself, of course.
But like, do you think that we can fix the criminal justice system given everything that has just been revealed in that committee? And also, is it fixable given all the revelations?
It's certainly fixable. But to go back to the revelations, then everyone said, oh, we're so shocked. Mkhwanazi said all of these things. Well, General Mkhwanazi did say a lot of things. He packaged them. We've known it for the last 15 years. That's not shocking. Yeah. It's not surprising. I don't know what the big fuss is about. Oh. This is not news. Unless you've been living under a rock, we all know that there's a problem in the criminal justice system. It's there for everyone to see.
So, Glynnis, I think the issue is we can all see it, right? But we can't all verbalize it. Can you, maybe from your vantage point, what are the most important things that you've heard so far? What are the actual crux issues? Because I feel like you have media houses also mining this thing for salacious purposes.
Hang on to your question, because I want to first answer his.
Okay.
He said, how would I fix it?
Just got a new podcast host.
So to fix it is not easy. And the longer we take to fix it, the harder it will be. And eventually it will become impossible. So we need to take it very seriously and start to fix it. We've been saying this for some time. But to fix it, we need to make appointments based on merit.
Yeah.
And stop putting friends and family into positions that they simply are not qualified for and will never be able to do. It doesn't only pertain to the criminal justice system, but it certainly has an effect in the criminal justice system that causes the kinds of problems that we're seeing now. So, for instance, the crime intelligence unit in the South African police is vital.
Yeah.
You cannot fight crime without intelligence.
Sure.
And for the last at least 15 years, probably longer, we've had a dysfunctional police service getting worse, but a completely dysfunctional police crime intelligence. Richard Mdluli was the head of crime intelligence. He used the COVID fund as his own personal slush fund, and he's finally being prosecuted for that now, 15 years later. And he appointed friends and family into positions that they, as agents. They're not agents. They don't know how to do the job. They get paid 50 grand a month and they can't do the job.
But maybe before we just pass on that, maybe just for the viewers at home, you mentioned something about the slush fund. What is the slush fund? Because it seems like there's a lot of money that is there. But what is a criminal or crime intelligence slush fund? And how much budget is there?
All intelligence services have a COVID fund.
Okay.
So a COVID fund is there for those expenses that you can't really put on the books for obvious reasons. So if Angus here is my informant, he's my impimpi, and I'm handling him, I can't put it on my books that everybody sees that Angus is my impimpi.
Yeah.
Because then he's no good as an impimpi.
Right, Angus is an impimpi. It's done. It's out there in the world to see. Thanks,
then
Glynnis.
everybody will know, and he'll be useless to me as an impimpi.
Yeah.
And I can't say I'm paying you 25,000 for your information. I'm paying him 50 for his.
Yeah.
You can't keep those kinds of records in ordinary books. So it gets dealt with in the COVID fund.
So basically, it's the money that you can spend, where the police can spend, but they don't have to account for.
Now, they do have to account for it. Generally, they're supposed to account for it. And those books are supposed to be audited, but you find that they're not.
Oh.
But there's supposed to be records kept of every single cent. It's taxpayers' money. You can't do with it as you please. So if they need to do an operation where they need to keep an eye on somebody and they need to rent a hotel room opposite his to watch him, that money comes out of the slush fund.
Sure.
If they're all sitting around in cars waiting to chase somebody, that's all paid for by the slush fund. So it's for COVID operations.
Yeah, so maybe picking up that and linking it to that previous question, whether it's expenditure and abuse of slush funds or shady links to underworld figures, What's the most important takeouts you've had so far?
Well, the important thing is that this has made South Africans kind of sit up and re-examine these issues. We, specifically the DA, have been talking about these issues for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I've certainly been talking about them for the last 15 years. Diane Barnard for even longer. So, we've been highlighting these issues and we've been saying it needs to be attended to. But it hasn't been. The job is huge. And you need both political will and actual hard work to make it happen.
Yeah.
So you want to fix the police, it's fixable. But to fix the police, you've got to get rid of all the bad elements. And there's no good, pussyfooting around the issue. You need to get rid of them. The National Prosecuting Authority, it can be fixed. Then, the whole organization isn't rotten. The whole police aren't rotten. The whole NPA isn't rotten. The whole of DCS isn't rotten. There are people who go in all of those institutions every single day and work really, really hard under terrible conditions and do the job to the best of their ability. And you've got to admire them because it's hard. When everybody around you is on the take, for you to do the right thing, it's hard. And there are lots of people who do that. But to get rid of the corrupt elements, you've got to take a knife to it and get rid of them. They've got to go because they have an insidious, bad effect on everybody around them, and they drag everyone down.
The things you and many of the other colleagues have been speaking about for 15 years, it's good and well. But what are some of the key things that have an ability to completely break down this country? I mean, taking your experience from being in the criminal justice system and now being in Parliament, etc., what are some of the key things that has been highlighted and has come out as allegations for now that really, if we don't deal with that, we've had it?
Well, if we don't deal with connected people and politicians interfering in the course of justice, in the rule of law, then you get to where we are now, on the brink of a failed state. When the law doesn't apply to everybody equally, when the rule of law has broken down to a point where you can't resurrect it, then you've had it. It is the only thing that keeps you and me and everybody else safe, is the rule of law. It means that everybody must be treated equally, and the law applies to everybody equally. And if you want a simple explanation of what the rule of law is, it's how fairly you're able to treat the people you don't like.
Sure.
So I think what I want to ask as well, along the same vein, so the purpose of having this after Mkhwanazi's allegations is to move from allegation to actionable steps.
Absolutely.
So now my question is, based on what you've heard so far, are you feeling, I don't know if the word is optimistic, that there's going to be enough evidence brought forward for concrete action? Is there a reason to be hopeful that this process will end in meaningful recommendations or actions recommended by Parliament?
Well, if Parliament wants to do its job at all, and if Parliament wants to do its job seriously, then yes, certainly. There's more than enough already out there for us to make recommendations that should be dealt with. And you want to bear in mind that Parliament has already once before been found lacking by the Constitutional Court, no less, for not doing its job properly. So we need to step up. And what we need to do is we need to ensure, the National Assembly needs to make findings and give instructions to the various portfolio committees to ensure that certain steps are implemented. And some of them are going to be unpalatable for all of us, hard, harsh, and have very serious consequences. But it's no good pretending that there's not a problem in the police, because that's what we're busy with. I'm not suggesting that they're alone, they're not. But certainly in the police there are problems, and certainly in the upper structures of the police there are serious problems. We've seen them.
Yeah.
Everybody's there looking out for themselves. This is nothing but a factional battle for power in the police. This is what it is. There are big jobs coming up. The head of the Hawks is vacant. General Labia has retired. So that job is up for grabs, and of course everybody wants it. And General Masemola is retiring next year. And that's the Commissioner of Police. Everybody wants it. So this is a battle to take sides and entrench yourself as the person who needs to be supported. And not because you're the best for the job, not because you're the guy who can do it.
Yeah, because I also
you need to have enough support. And the support means that if you support the guy who gets it, then there are benefits for you.
You look after down the line.
Yes, so it's just a continuation of this Jobs for Pals cadre deployment that has gotten us to where we are now. It's got to stop.
So I'm really excited about the fact that the findings of the ad hoc committee will put recommendations in place that Parliament will decide how they fix, how the different committees fix some of the issues that come out of this thing. But it's just coincidental that the elections that were just passed has not given the ANC a majority. Because the ANC's majority would have steamrolled this thing.
It's not coincidental.
It's just how it's worked out.
It's their deserved desserts for 30 years of mismanagement.
For a second, I thought it was slightly wrong then. But I mean, so now the ANC doesn't have a majority.
No.
It's open. And so the implementation of these recommendations, and not only the implementation, but the writing up of what those recommendations are, has a real possibility of seeing a lot of DA policy and DA getting it right policy driven through. What are those policies?
Well, we've articulated our policies. Yeah. We believe in merit-based appointments. We don't believe in cadre deployment. We believe in accountability. Accountability not only in how you deal with finances and how you're held accountable for that, but also accountability for your job.
Yeah.
If you don't do your job, I mean, why are there no lifestyle audits for the top echelon of South African police? Why? We can clearly see that it's necessary, and it's been necessary for the last 10 years. Why? Now they're talking about we're going to the SIU to get lifestyle audits. Why now?
Yeah,
it's too late.
Yeah.
Why are we allowing people who clearly cannot do the job? There we have the Deputy Minister Matale sitting there 2 days ago. He has yet to be.
I heard that one.
He's had yet to have any authority delegated to him. He gets paid in excess of 2 million rand a year.
And he's done nothing.
And he doesn't have a job to go to.
Yeah.
What does he do? What does he do when he goes to work? I'm still waiting for an answer. Yeah. What do you do when you go to work and you don't have a job? You just sit there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how do you justify that to yourself, let alone to anybody else?
Yeah.
So why we need to stop this happening? We've got 2 deputy ministers of police. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and neither of them have any authority delegated to them. Correct. So what in God's name are they doing?
Yeah. And they're getting paid. But then another one that we also saw along those lines, the Deputy Commissioner, Shadrack Sibia, I mean, in that committee, he could hardly answer questions. When he tried to answer questions, you didn't understand what he was saying. And at some point, he was also saying that he believes that people are trying to block him to become the national. I'm like, dude, you don't even deserve to be the deputy commissioner. You are. And you are saying that people are trying. So, like, with that, how do we? Yes, you said we must do merit-based appointments, but how do we clean currently what is there now? Because people are going to run to the CCMA, to
fire
the
them.
Court. Simple, just like that.
And that's it up, folks. Cheers.
Fire them. Honestly, litigate forever. Go to the CCMA, litigate. It'll be worth every cent. Just get rid of them. Go.
So funny enough, my question was very much related to that, right? Because I was thinking, as we look at this commission, it seems untenable for most of these people to stay in position. What does it actually look like, though, to get rid of almost your entire
top
echelon? I mean, I hear you when you say fire them, and I think everybody's like, hallelujah. But what are the real world implications? Is that something we can and should be looking to do?
It's not without consequences, and it's probably not even to be recommended. And I'm sure Michael Bergram is having a small stroke as we speak. But you can't have them there.
Yeah.
You've got to get rid of them. As long as they're there, they're going to have that insidious negative influence. There are good people in the police. There are people who want to work. There are people who want to do that job because they want to be policemen. They want to serve the community.
Yeah.
And they are the people who must get those promotions, and they are the people who must provide leadership for the new police coming in. You cannot have these people. I mean, Minister Nkunu, who sat there, also answered questions, spoke forever, couldn't shut him up. But did he actually say anything?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. Yeah.
I can't think of one thing that he said that had any huge impact. He's like Castle Matade. Talk. But they don't say anything of substance.
Yeah.
And in fairness, he's not a policeman.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything about the police. He doesn't know anything about police culture. Doesn't know anything about the job that police do. He doesn't understand the risks that a policeman takes every single day, that most policemen, when they leave their house in the morning, their family doesn't know if they're coming home tonight, and they have to live with that. They don't understand that. So they can go and sit there and, I don't have anything delegated to me, so I'll just sit here and wait.
Glynnis, let me ask you quickly. What's the future of General Mkhwanazi, in your opinion?
I don't know General Mkhwanazi, and I unfortunately wasn't there when he appeared because I was at the Judicial Services Commission. He seems to be a competent policeman, just looking at him. He seems to know about policing. I think he's a career policeman, so he's come up through the ranks. He knows his job. By all accounts, he's a policeman who does his job, doesn't beat around the bush. That's clear. Yeah. But I don't necessarily think that General Mkhwanazi only did this for altruistic purposes.
Yeah, that's it.
I think he has self-interest in the whole issue. He also covets those top jobs. Remember, he was the acting National Commissioner for a while, and then he was replaced by Ria Piega, which could not have been very palatable to him, and I'm quite sure he doesn't want that to happen again. Yeah. He has got competition. There are other, when I was a prosecutor, there were very few lieutenant generals in the police, if any. I can't think of any. There were major generals. It was very hard to reach the rank of lieutenant general, and most people didn't make it. Today, every single person is a lieutenant general.
I think the number was 38.
It's unbelievable. I don't know where they all come from.
Yeah.
And, when they had the Tower Besta debacle, one of them appeared there, and I said to her, how many dockets have you investigated? None.
And
So it's title. It's just the title.
So, there's a problem there, and that problem needs to be addressed. People need to qualify for the rank that they hold, and they need to be able to provide leadership to people in the ranks below them. And no policeman is going to respect anybody who gets parachuted into a position in the police and has never investigated a case, and you can't expect them to.
So, Glynnis, we are very mindful that you're going to have to leave us. On my end, I have two closing questions for you. The one is whether you have an opinion on the effectiveness of the political killings task team. Yes, I know you have an opinion on everything.
Very seldom have an opinion.
Do you have half an hour?
The political killings task team. Because it's at the center of this thing, the disbanding of it. Was it actually effective? Do you have a view on that?
I don't know if it deserves to be the center of this thing. And I don't believe that it's in fact. I think it's a bit of a red herring. It's something that you could latch on to.
Yeah.
So the political killings task team is, as the name suggests, it's a finite thing. It's like an ad hoc committee. You have to reach an end.
Yeah.
You don't become an ad hoc committee and then sit for the next 7 parliaments. So you've got to get your job done and finish it. Political killings task team must do their job and finish it. If there's a need for an ongoing, it must become a unit.
Yeah.
So what it appears was the idea behind closing it was that it would, the capacity that it has and the expertise that it's built up, if any, would move to murder and robbery unit that would, be re-established. Because there used to be murder and robbery units in the police. They were disbanded.
Yeah.
For
like the gang unit as well.
Yeah, for whatever reason, one doesn't know. But re-establish that, and they would fit in there and do that. So, a table has been presented to the ad hoc committee about what they've done. They have had successes, certainly. Is there a need for investigating political killings in South Africa? Certainly. They're on the rise. They're not getting less, they're getting more. So has it succeeded in stopping them? No. Is it likely that you would ever eradicate political killings? No, because they happen all over the world. Yeah. Should they be in the kind of statistic that we have. No, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And so if they were a huge success, we shouldn't have this statistic.
Yeah.
A lot of I did try and ask, but I got no real answers. There have been successful prosecutions, a number, but there have been a lot of cases withdrawn and removed from the roll, and I couldn't get an answer as to the reasons for that. And so are they this big success that deserves this big hurrah? No, I'm not at all sure that they are.
Yeah. And then the last question I was going to ask on my end is, can you map the road ahead for us? I believe you guys are mandated to continue to the end of November. Do you know who's coming up next? What can we expect between now and November? And will you actually be done in November?
I honestly don't see how we will be done in November, but this is an extension already. We should have finished in October, but we started 2.5 months late also. I don't know why. So the list of potential witnesses is endless. We're going to have to, make a cutoff. In fairness, we've got an evidence leader with 2 people assisting him. It takes time to prepare statements and prepare witnesses and get them ready. So, it's not something, they can't do it overnight and we go on tomorrow kind of thing. It takes time.
Yeah.
We're already at the end of October. If we sit every single day in November, and I don't even think we'll get through the list. So what we're going to have to do is, because it's very easy to forget the terms of reference and very easy to get distracted by side issues because there are so many, and they're all important.
Yeah.
But the terms of reference of the ad hoc committee are clear. We must deal with the allegations of Makwenazi and how it affects the police going forward. So we can't try and fix every ill in the police. That's not our mandate. That's something that will have to happen in portfolio committees. And so we're going to have to be very disciplined and limit ourselves, which is difficult because it's a natural inclination when something pops up to want to try and fix that too. But we're going to have to just stay away from that. So as I understand it, we have no choice. We must be finished by the end of November.
Glynnis, on behalf of all of us, South Africa, every single South African, every peace-loving South African, thank you for fighting. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for being absolutely relentless. Thanks for leading the way. I think the commission and the ad hoc committee would have been boring without you, because you asked the real tough questions. Thank you so much for what you're doing for this country. Thank you so much for everything that you've dedicated. I think you've dedicated your entire life. And to get to a point like this where you can fight for something real, well done. Thank you very much. It's been awesome having you.
Thank you. Lots of people would disagree.
They would. Not us.